Hey babe, it's me. So they checked me into a psychiatric hospital yesterday because I didn't do well picking up Amauri, and I put my pain and my fear and anxiety on her in a very unhealthy way. And after getting ripped apart about that, I got very, very suicidal.
Now, this sounds like Cora Jakes, and maybe it is. But if so, what does it mean, if anything? And does it shed any light on the veracity of her daughter, Amauri Coleman, in connection with her sexual assault allegations against Cora Jakes' husband? Well, if you want to know what I think about this audio that has made its rounds around the internet, you better stick around. Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore, and welcome back to my channel and to my series entitled Potter's House PedoFiles, the Sex, Lies, and Audio Tapes Edition. I do want to stop briefly and note that Brandon Coleman has been detained in jail on bail in the amount of $150,000. As you can see, as reflected by the jail records, Brandon Coleman has been held in the Ellis County Jail for 123 days, and he remains there as we speak. And either Cora Jakes, she's been directly instructed not to post bond on his behalf, or she does not want to post bond on behalf of her husband, i.e., because she believes, maybe, allegedly, possibly, that he committed the crimes as alleged in the indictment. And so, as you can see here, all of these crimes as alleged relate to touching allegations rather than actual penetration with the sexual organ type allegations. Now, actual penetration with the sexual organ will produce actual forensic DNA evidence that would establish beyond a reasonable doubt that the event in fact occurred and who actually committed the act. While on the other hand, having allegations of touching leads the evidence, it seems, to accepting the word of the child that these events actually occurred. And so now this brings us to the lies and audio tapes. And so now, obviously, based on all of the aforementioned information, Brandon Coleman's theory of the case would be to provide evidence that the child has a history of lying if he wants to create doubt in an effort to overcome the beyond a reasonable doubt standard. Now, I've received numerous comments and messages indicating that the child is a liar. I received this comment about a podcast conducted a few years ago in which it is alleged that Sister Sarah Jakes remarked about the child lying. Now, you'll remember in my prior video that I showed you a list of evidence that the DA intends to use at the time of trial, or what we call exculpatory evidence, which includes audio recordings from a detention center. And at that time, I couldn't imagine that Cora Jakes would be calling the jail if she actually believed the child's allegations. Now, there is an audio tape swirling around the internet that purports to be of a call made from Cora Jakes to Brandon Coleman's cell phone. Now, I have no way of actually knowing when this call was made, and I don't think anybody has substantiated in any way by direct evidence when the call was actually made. And I have no way of knowing where the call was made to or actually from. I'm assuming that the call was made to Brandon Coleman's cell phone, but I really just have no way of knowing exactly where the call was made to and what Cora Jakes is talking about in the call. But she describes an event in which she was upset with the child for some reason. Now, some people want to assume, that's right, I can't see this as anything else but assuming that the call was made while Brandon Coleman has been detained in jail, and that Cora was referring to an event that may have been tied to Cora's belief that the child was lying about the sexual assault allegations. But when you listen to the audio, it does not state when it was made, and there are conflicting reports out there that this was really from an event that occurred in 2021. So we have absolutely no idea. And the audio does not reveal exactly what Cora Jakes is talking about. So let's listen to this audio.
Hey babe, it's me. So they checked me into a psychiatric hospital yesterday because I didn't do well picking up Amauri, and I put my pain and my fear and anxiety on her in a very unhealthy way. And after getting ripped apart about that, I got very, very suicidal. And Dr. Jill just happened to be there. So Sarah and her worked out for me to be at a psychiatric hospital for the next couple of days to be on suicide watch. They're taking care of the kids, and I've been able to do a lot of processing here. I actually slept for like 6 hours. I haven't slept for over an hour or two since Sunday. Eating a little bit, but not a lot. I just wanted to check in with you and let you know what's going on. And, you know, I wrote you a letter, I wrote Maya a letter, I wrote Tuka a letter, and then just a letter to family in general. But I love you, and I guess I'll try to call you back in a little bit. Bye.
Now, I can't, it doesn't fit together for me that this was actually audio from the same time that Brandon Coleman is in jail. I don't see her saying I love you and babe, calling him babe, but I'll let y'all decide. Now, if you listen to audio from videos from the YouTube channel of YouTuber Nosy Bystander, and I'm placing the direct link in the description section below. But in those interviews, Brandon Coleman specifically states that he has not spoken to Cora since he has been detained in jail. Now, I'm directing you to her YouTube channel to listen to all of the audio interviews, but let's listen to a little bit of this audio.
Have you talked to her while you've been in Ellis County?
No.
So no letters, no calls from Cora, nothing?
Nothing.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I'm here, so I really don't know what to think. So, I figured I cut all my ties because, all my ties have been cut anyways. And like I said, I really didn't know what to think. So I'm here, I'm here. So what am I supposed to think?
Yeah. And well, when you were first arrested, you were arrested in Grand Prairie. At any time while you were in Grand Prairie, did you talk to Cora?
I called her when I got locked up.
Okay.
Yeah, I called her when I got locked up.
And what did she say? Do you remember the call?
She just said, "I'm so sorry."
And so not only does he state that he has not spoken to Cora Jakes, but he also specifically states that Cora Jakes has not called or written to him since he's been detained in jail. And now he does state that he made a call to her when he was in the prior jail before he was extradited to the county, the target county, Ellis County. So he calls her, and sounds like a very brief conversation, But in any other respect, it seems that he states from his own mouth that he has not spoken to her. Now, Brandon Coleman does state that he was able to speak to Cora when she was hospitalized in the psych hospital. So let's take a listen to that as well.
So Cora was institutionalized. She went to a mental health care facility. You know that. And she's left you several voicemails while she was in the facility. When she was in the facility, did you, other than the voicemails, were you able to talk to her while she was there and basically help her with her mental health, or get an understanding as to why she was even there?
I was able to talk to her, and just kind of check on her, see how, what was going on, with her and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was able to talk with her.
Okay, so let's try to untangle all of these confusing bits and pieces. So now this audio also substantiates my belief that the audio from Cora Jakes to Brandon Coleman that we listened to earlier when she was hospitalized must have been from a time prior to the time when he was detained in jail, and he could have said that when he was answering the question. So I really don't know what's going on. People are working together to try to piece stuff together to make it sound a certain kind of way, but he could have said, yeah, back in 2021 or whenever it was. And so anyone who would want to establish that Cora Jakes does not believe the child because she's talking to Brandon Coleman while he is in jail cannot establish this, because Brandon Coleman himself specifically states that he has not spoken to Cora Jakes except for the one time in Grand Prairie, in the Grand Prairie jail. He has not spoken to Cora Jakes since he's been detained in the Ellis County jail. Now, I've also received comments from numerous people about allegations the child made in a previous home, a previous foster care home, wherein she makes sexual allegations against another person in another foster care home committed by someone else. Now, here's a small portion of audio which reveals what I see to be Brandon Coleman's theory of his case, in which he would purport to establish that the child has a history of lying. And so now let's take a listen to some of this.
Yeah. And, this kind of like one of the things I told I told someone else was that this is not the first time that this has been brought up as far as an allegation like this. One of the biggest things we had, that was one of the earlier things we had when we adopted Amauri early on, was this against someone else. Within the first few months of fostering, we had something like this come up.
With where she was staying prior to her adoption? Correct.
So that was one of those things that kind of, when this came up, kind of shook me a little bit. Like, this is not new. This is something that's happened before. So it made me question a whole lot of things with that as well. And that's why I said what I said. Like, since early on, when we adopted her, one of the biggest things we had was her and her being, and one, telling the truth was always an issue. Even during our marriage, we had big issues with that.
Yeah.
So much so that we even threatened to put her in a boarding home.
Because of the lying.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous. Asking what color the sky would be was always iffy,
Okay, so to me, something does not quite add up to me about this testimony from Mr. Brandon Coleman. First of all, it seems that this is being placed into the atmosphere by him only. I have not seen any proof of these allegations coming from anybody but Brandon Coleman. So, In addition, many of you have commented or messaged me stating that there is audio wherein the child admits to Cora JAKES that the allegations she made against her adoptive father, Brandon Coleman, are not true. So, I'm going to let you listen to this so I can give you my opinion about this as well. So, let's check it out.
So, we left off and we were discussing that recording. So there was a recording that was sent to you with Amauri and Cora, and it sounded like they were having a conversation. And you were getting ready to tell me who sent it, the recording to you. Because you believe that this individual may or may not be wanting to help you in your case. So can you go into that a little bit further?
Well, yeah, I mean, Cora sent it to me.
Cora sent it to you?
Yeah.
Why do you think she sent it to you?
I think it was the idea of, like I said, I questioned what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like what was being said. Like I didn't know what I was fighting. Like what the hell, you know?
Yeah.
So she sent that to me.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that she did it because she believes you're innocent?
That's what I believe this whole time, you know. I believe that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? Because she's your wife of 12 years. She's inclined to believe you.
Okay, so neither one of the people in this interview actually state exactly what the child said. And what I got from what Brandon Coleman was saying is that he asked Cora what was going on. And Cora played this alleged audio from a conversation she had with the child wherein the child made these sexual allegations to her, i.e. Cora JAKES. Now, I don't know why that would be seen as Cora JAKES trying to help him, but we have no way of knowing what was said on that audio recording either. So, let's recap. We have Brandon Coleman stating that the child has a history of lying. In order to prove this, you would need CPS records from other prior foster parents proving this up. Based on Brandon Coleman's own audio, we know that he has not spoken to Cora JAKES since he has been in the Ellis County Jail. She has not called or written since he's been there. He called her one time when he was first detained in Grand Prairie, but he called her. And what we do know is that she, Cora JAKES, has declined to bail her husband, Brandon Coleman, out of jail. Now, whatever audio there is out there between Cora JAKES and her daughter, Amauri, based on Brandon Coleman in his own audio interview in his own words, it appears that it's audio of the child actually making the allegations that are made the basis of the criminal indictment. So, other than Brandon Coleman's word, we have nothing. We really have nothing to substantiate that the child has a history of lying. Now, if there is video wherein Sarah JAKES states that the child has a history of lying, I will call her to the stand at the time of trial if I represented Brandon Coleman, because this would create enough doubt to overcome a finding of guilt beyond reasonable doubt on allegations that are based only at this moment in time on the word of the child. But I personally have not heard or seen this podcast. And if someone has a copy of it, please send it to your girl. And so, with all of this being said, as you know on here, I just ask and report and I let you decide. So, what do you think? Based on all of this, do you think the child is lying? And do you think Cora JAKES thinks the child is lying? Why do you think Cora JAKES has not bailed her husband out of jail if she believes him? Why has Cora JAKES not called or written her husband in jail if she believes him? Please let me know by leaving your comments in the comments section below. And I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this video by clicking the super thanks heart button below. And while you're there, I want to also ask that you please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more hot tea drama on this case. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.